Got my boys Poppy Latte and Stanker, and we have a special guest, Mr. Host of the Just Football podcast on Pro Football Focus.
Intro.
I know. Start over. Hold on.
Start the fuck over. What the fuck was that, Sam?
No, I had a brain fart.
Fuck is the energy,
No,
bro?
I had a brain fart. All right. Joining us today, host
come
of
on.
It's Just Football podcast, all right? The NFL Stock Exchange pod, the inventor of hashtag 3 sides minimum.
Yep.
Some people may also
That
know
guy.
him as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Tampa Bay Lightning player ever.
Of all time.
Of all time, all right? Pewter Report, fucking legend.
Hall
all
of Famer.
Legend.
And recently has had his beautiful dome and that marvelous hair on NFL Network's airways. The one, the only, Trevor Sikkema. Welcome back to
Did he
Loose
just
Cannons,
bust out the
Trevor.
Top Gun fucking
He
the
did,
aviator?
bro. He fucking did,
What?
dude.
Every time I'm on this podcast and you guys started, I feel left out because I don't have sunglasses on. So
These
That
are-
means you can only come on during wins.
I took you know what? Finally, something like an actual good streak. Because y'all know, as all Bucs fans do, that the entire reason why the franchise is good now is because I no longer live in the great state of Florida. So, you know, at least give me this. At least give me this where I come on the Loose Cannons podcast.
Hey, listen, every goat needs a sacrificial lamb, and you happen to be that guy. And we do appreciate it, dude.
Wow, that was very very animalistic of you right there. Every goat
That's
needs
what
a
I'm known
His
for,
name's
dude. That's what I'm known for, dude.
His name is Stank Bastard.
Was that off the top
Hold
of the
it.
dome?
Put it on the fucking
That's
t-shirt, son.
That's why you watch the show,
That's
folks.
why you do it right there. That's why you do it.
Trevor, we won a fucking game against a team that is actually
Won 2 games.
good
in a
at
row.
football. Good at football team, all right? Where
at
the
football
fuck
team?
where the fuck has this been? No, we beat a team that's good at football.
Is that the name of the new franchise?
Yes,
The
good at football team. The Seattle good at football team. Where was this? What was it? Is it execution where the play's always there? What the fuck was it?
Well, I felt great, obviously, to get to wake up on a Sunday morning. Bucs football was right there at 9:30 a.m. Get to start the day off with some Bucs football. That was great to see. It was, look, you know, you guys, I'm sure I have been like this. I know a lot of Bucs fans have been like this, where it's like, what the hell has happened with this team? Because you look at them on paper, and even with all the injuries, ain't no way they should have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ain't no way they should have lost to the Carolina Panthers, right? Ravens, all right, Ravens are a good football team, but they even had a chance to win that game, all things considered. So now they're sitting here and they actually get a good win against the Seattle Seahawks, which is great because I was basically on the fence about this entire season. If they would have lost to the Seahawks, it would have been really bad vibes going into the bye week, and I think that it would have been tough even to win the NFC South for as bad as the NFC South is if they would not have beaten the Seahawks. Now, everything has changed. You get a last-second win against the Los Angeles Rams. You get a overseas victory against the Seattle Seahawks. My dog, obviously, if you guys can hear that, was very pumped up about it as well. You know, when I think about this game, the Bucs just started faster than the Seahawks did. I don't know what was up with Seattle. It might have been a time change. Maybe it was the travel. Maybe it was just an off week. I don't know, but it felt like Seattle didn't wake up until like midway through the third quarter. And when they did, what'd you say?
I'll tell you what it is. It's Joe Tryon, bro. That guy woke up. He got them boys going up front.
I love the way that Joe Tryon has been playing. I really do. I think that Joe Tryon is in for a major year next year. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought he was going to be a little bit quicker to get to it, but I really think, because I went back and I watched a lot of his key plays from this past game as well, and like the building blocks for him are there. He is given phenomenal effort. He's hitting inside swim moves. He's understanding when he can, how to set up offensive tackles a little bit better. He's got that speed element to him. He's still working on the strength profile, but he's going to be a lighter edge rusher anyways. That was great to see. I don't know if that was the biggest reason why they won, but the Joe Tryon stuff, without a doubt, it was
definitely helped set the tone. That's for sure.
I think the switch at running back probably meant a little bit more than Joe Tryon did. But you know, like, big shout out Joe Tryon. I think he's playing great. I do think he's playing.
I think that was Latte's fucking question right there.
What?
You were gonna ask him about Rachaad White, weren't you?
No, I listen. Although everyone knows I'm obsessed with running backs because they have big tree trunks for legs and something about baby oil. I don't know. Everybody knows I love running backs, but I wasn't gonna. No, I wasn't gonna bring up the running backs. I was
That's
just
surprising.
I'm
That's really
surprised.
surprising.
I honestly
I
thought
know
he
you
was
guys are
slowing
shocked
down.
by that.
Look,
but
You were lathered up yesterday, bro.
Somebody needs to though.
I-
Wait, hold on. Whoa, hold on. Before we started this show, like 2 seconds before we started this show, Christian, you were like, "Oh, I had a chance to go to Germany," and then like we started the show, and I'm like, "Wait, how did you not go to Germany?"
My fault.
It's not just it's all three of us had it.
You guys could have been there?
To go.
Well, a certain member of the podcast decided that he refused to be vaccinated and kind of threw a wrench in everything. And at that moment, that was a requirement.
At that moment, it was a requirement, and our beautiful sponsor, Sam, if you want to mention them, you know all the rundown, had offered to take us out there, and we were.
Oh yeah,
even
no,
listen,
all expenses paid, by the way.
all expenses paid, Trevor.
Yeah,
we were just gonna pull up, bro, and watch a game with the Aryans and just fucking hang out in Germany. And this dumb barefoot motherfucker at the time said, "No, you will not tell me what."
I told you. I
ain't putting
I
that
told
shit
you
on me,
back
Bobby
then,
Boucher.
Latte.
You ain't
I
putting
told
that
you
devil
back
juice
then,
in me.
Latte, that we should have dumped him from the show and just started
Should've.
new right then and there.
Should've.
Right?
Listen, I had
Could've
chicken.
been
I had
in
chicken
Troy.
pox twice. I had chicken pox
let's
twice.
Run it back,
Okay?
West Virginia. We could have been in the fucking stadium, bro.
Right now, over me.
Over me.
Oh wow,
That's the
there
real.
it
That's the
is.
real.
There it
rendition.
is. Look,
Yeah.
I would have been. Look, you could have subbed me in. I could have been the third loose cannon.
Bro, that's a
could've been the third
major
loose
upgrade.
cannon.
I didn't know that was an option. You're on the NFL Network and shit, bro.
I mean, if it
Trevor,
meant
I
us
don't
going to
think you
Germany,
know.
I'd-
I don't think you know what goes
Turns out I
into
was right.
becoming a
Turns out I was
loose
right.
cannon, Trevor.
You didn't need that shit anyways.
There's a little bit of a hazing.
Oh shit, Skip's in here. He's still in Germany. Hello from
Skip.
Munich.
Oh, Skip's
Skip.
in the chat.
Oh, I
from
saw
Munich.
I saw pictures of Skip over in Germany. Skip, I gotta
amazing.
shout out Skip because even like when I was back at Pewter Report, Skip travels, man.
Yeah.
Like Skip will go to the road games to follow this team, and it is a great way to live. It's a great way to see the country. Now it's a great way to see the world. So I hope a lot of other Bucs fans are following in Skip's lead because it's very fun to go to a lot of these road games. As
People
you guys
don't know, dude. There are fans that have kept this franchise together for a long time behind the scenes. Skip's one of those people, man. He's
Skip's
been
100%.
around forever. Like I'm talking about like Tampa Bay online forums where his username used to be "Hate the Eagles."
Well,
Okay,
he's like-
that's
he's
how
like-
old. That's
he's
how
like-
long Skip's been around.
He's like 68
Hey,
years old, isn't
hey.
he?
Oh, don't be a douche, bro. The guy's a Hall of Famer, bro. It
He's
was
a
the
Hall of
red
Famer.
Board.
Yeah, he's
it was
a Hall
the
of Famer.
red board on Pewter Report, man.
Red board as well. Red board as
I-
well. That was the
Red
second
board, bro.
rendition. That was the second
I've never
rendition.
been on a message board in my life. I am not old
What?
enough to have been on a message board. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were
A
behind
thing
the
called
scenes
Twitter.
coding it, Samir.
A thing called Twitter came out when I was that age, dude. No one was going to message boards. What the fuck?
So
Come
when I got to Pewter Report in 2017, I was never a big like message board guy. I really wasn't. And then Scott was like, "Yeah, our biggest traffic driver is without a doubt the message board." And I'm like, "The message board?" And I went on there, and sure enough, it's just topic after
cesspool.
topic after topic. We didn't even have to start topics. Like me, Scott, Mark, we didn't even have to start topics. Fans would just get in there and be like, it'd be September 29th, and people be like, "All right, who we drafted?" And it's just like the thread is like 800 posts long already.
Bro, I
And,
used to put
I used to
my mock
live on
drafts
there.
and find the codes for the pictures and put the pictures of the players. Like, man, I want Brandon Graham and I want this guy. Make my
See?
own little fucking mock drafts.
that's how it
Hey,
was.
so when you heard message board from Scott, and you were like message board. Was
Yeah.
it the same thing when you were like, "Hey, we're gonna put the podcast on YouTube"? Was he like YouTube? What?
I don't think
Hey, look, they're kicking our ass now.
They're whooping our ass. No,
was
but
I,
whooping
was
our
I the
ass.
one. I don't know if
but
I was the
Trevor
one.
helped start that that movement for them on YouTube.
I had to convince them to start a podcast. I had to convince Scott
Oh,
and
yeah,
Mark
that's
to
right.
start a podcast when I
This is
first got
gold.
on.
You're like, this is gold. We need.
I'm
to-
like, you guys, and the only reason why we started a podcast is because Scott, Mark, and I would sit together in one Buck place, and they would tell all of these behind the scenes stories of like Warren Sapp and Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks and Simeon Rice and John Gruden. And I'm like, y'all realize every Bucs fan in the world would want to hear this story. And they're like, nah, we don't want to do it. It was like pulling teeth to get them to start the podcast, and we had to do it. And, now Pewter Report is flourishing well beyond me being there. So it's very great to see.
Let's
As
bring
a
it
Trevor.
back. Let's talk about
Yeah.
the actual
Trevor,
game.
Let's bring
Yeah,
it back,
okay.
Trev.
Sorry.
Listen, so Gadecki can never start again, right? Like
No,
that
no.
experiment is over, right?
this
Because I saw
season.
Brady
For
with a
this-
lot of time.
Yeah, no, his NFL career is over. I mean, he can never start again from it. No, obviously, look, and here's the unfortunate part about when you're on a team that has high expectations that for whatever reason does not live up to those expectations. Gadecki wasn't supposed to start this year. He wasn't. He was not supposed to start this year. They weren't supposed to have him in this place, right? You lose out on Alex Kappa and free agency. Ali Marpet kind of retires out of nowhere. And Ryan Jensen gets hurt at the beginning of training camp, right? At the very least, Robert Hainsey was supposed to be that utility interior offensive lineman who's going to be able to step in. All right, you lose one of those offensive guards and you go, okay, we're going to trade for Shaq Mason. You get Shaq Mason in there, and again, it's supposed to be Robert Hainsey that's supposed to be taking over. So,
and Stenny. We lost Stenny too.
That's right. That's right. You're right. So he was never. I know a lot of people are dogging on him, and he feels like public enemy number one for some Bucs fans. But I need everybody to kind of take a little bit of a breath here. This kid still could be a damn good interior offensive lineman, and he was not supposed to start this year. All that to say, Nick Leverett is clearly the guy. You have to go with him moving forward. His play at left guard has been way better than Gadecki's was, and that's just a matter of fact. So I know that Todd Bowles is like, hey, when both these guys are healthy, it's going to be an open competition. Sure, you want it to be an open competition, but if it's an open competition, you better let the best man win. That's all there is to it, right? You can't have these preconceived notions where it's like, yeah, but we wanted this guy to be better. We wanted this guy to start. We wanted this guy to get reps. Because now you're at a point in the season where the best man has to play no matter what. You're sitting here at 5-5. You're going into the bye week. You have a chance to slingshot after that. The NFC South, thankfully, is really bad.
Really bad.
You've got to let the best players play. And as of right now, Nick Leverett's got to be that guy. He's got to be the left guard moving forward. And I know people are going to point to that pressure he gave up when Brady was backed up in the end zone because, yes, he totally did give up that pressure. That was his fault. But I went back and I actually watched it this morning. You can see right before the snap, Hainsey actually tries to shift the protection over to the right, and he even looks at Leverett next to him, and he's waving his arms like, you have Shelby Harris, like you have the guy in front of me because I'm going to go further to the right. But at the same time, Leverett points to the linebacker, and he points to the linebacker, and he's like, yeah, I got him. I got it. And then before they could clean up that communication, Brady calls for the ball, and he has to snap it immediately. And so outside of that one play, I think Leverett has clearly been better at left guard. It's been an upgrade at that position. And I think you're seeing it with how well they've been able to play at least a little bit better over the last couple of weeks.
But why did we play so much better yesterday, Trevor? Why did that offense look so much different, so explosive at times, so
momentum?
They just looked like they were really like they looked aggressive. Whereas the last 9 weeks, we looked like we were just trying not to lose the game, as opposed to yesterday, they came out trying to win the game, trying to take it from the fucking start.
Fuck you, Sammer. I'm stepping in here. Sorry, Trevor.
I mean,
why? You know why, Trev, and Trev can elaborate more.
Yeah, I know why.
Because he breaks down fucking and analytics and bullshit, right? But to my, dumb football mind that's nowhere near Trevor's.
Then why'd you cut in then?
We fucking ran the ball better, Sammer. That's why, because 29 started the fucking game, which helped us set up the fucking play action.
You're gonna let Sammer off the hook that easy? I thought you were going chicken wings. This bitch
finally made his fucking wings.
This bitch right here, full screen. No, this bitch right here hasn't cooked a single fucking chicken wing.
Not one chicken wing all season, Trevor.
All season, Trevor. All season. That's why we were losing. That's why we had no energy. That's why we had to fly all the way to Nazi Germany to get a fucking win.
Is it still called that?
Pump the brakes, bro.
I don't think it's called that anymore, dude. It's
my bad. Listen, bro.
Listen, Trevor is not going to get canceled on his podcast.
I got scars, bro. I got scars.
The views and opinions of the Loose Cannons have nothing to do with Trevor. We'll put that out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Or stank.
No, so honestly, you guys are asking kind of what was the difference about this game? It does look, running the ball the way they did definitely goes into that. So I don't totally disagree with what Christian is saying, but I think it was a little bit deeper and it was a little bit further than that. Something that, a question that y'all have been asking over the last couple of weeks, a question that all Bucs fans have been asking over the last couple of weeks is, what is wrong with this team? They have the guys on paper. They have the players even up front to look better than they have before. They have Tom Brady. The defense should be better. And the only real tangible explanation that I could come up with is this team was just mentally shot. for whatever reason, I don't understand. Maybe it was because they had such high expectations and they were not living up to them, but they were absolutely mentally shot for those games. That stretch against the Panthers, against the Steelers, against the Ravens, they did not believe they could win the football game. When you go back to that Carolina Panthers game, and we're 3 plays into that game, Mike Evans says that his dropped pass in that 3rd play of the game, he saw the lights go out of everybody. What? Like, yeah, okay, it's a debilitating play. We get it. But for you to say that you physically saw the life go out of the rest of the team when you dropped that ball in a 0-0 game against a team that is competing for the #1 overall pick in the draft, a team that just fired their head coach, a team that just traded away their best offensive player, and y'all couldn't get over it. And I'm not getting on Mike for this at all. I think it's kind of like a team thing. Like, the team was just in a funk mentally. They had no confidence anywhere on either side of the ball. In Germany against the Seattle Seahawks, was it perfect? No. But did it look a hell of a lot more confident than it has been in weeks past? Yes. And ultimately, I really do think that's what won them the game. They played with a lot more fire. They played with a lot more focus. They played with a lot more care. And I think that it was a put up or shut up game for them. I think it was truly a look in the mirror, look at the man in the mirror, and be real with yourself. Go out and play the way that you think you can be, that you could play, that you know you can play. And ultimately, whether it was the run game, whether it was a little bit better in the pass game, whether the blocking, which I think held up really well in this game against the Seahawks, or, man, they contained Kenneth Walker to 17 yards. That's unheard of since Kenneth Walker took over as the starting running back for Seattle.
They gave up running.
They took pride in all of their assignments when they were over in Germany. And I think that's something that's the biggest takeaway point for me, is that's what it has to be throughout the rest of the season.
Trevor, you're wrong. You're wrong, Trevor. I have a more analytical answer to that, all right? The answer is that Tom Brady removed the succubus from his life, all right? He's been undefeated. Undefeated, all right? Undefeated.
I saw your tweet. I saw it. I saw the tweet, Sammer.
Stop deflecting, by the way, Sammer. We're not letting you off the hook, okay? You didn't have your fucking Bucs flag up at your house, and you didn't make wings till fucking week 9, bro. What is wrong with you?
Hey, I apologize. I put out a tweet. I apologize. All has been right for 2 weeks now. The flag is put up. Everything's fine. Everything's good.
Did you do your apology in like an iPhone note? And then, like at the end of it, say no further questions at this time. And then did you like put your signature at the bottom? And then
I would have to be dumb enough to have an iPhone for that to have occurred.
And second of all, this man has never apologized for anything in his life.
Trevor, even that tweet was extremely uncomfortable and just not normal. I don't even know I think it was an apology. I'm not quite sure, but I tried my best to tap into my alien heart and figure out exactly what to write there.
I love that Trevor eye roll, because every group text that I start with a player or with a coach with Sammer, literally the first response is, who the fuck doesn't have an iPhone? Hey. Who has me in a group bubble text? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude.
I'm so proud of that.
It's not me.
I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. I used to be very proud of not having watched Harry Potter, but now that has also been broken. Now that I've seen the movie
Good.
so far.
Listen, you're already breaking all your bad habits. Break that one.
It was absolutely
Trevor, does Akeem Hicks make that big of a difference, dude?
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say Akeem Hicks, 31 came back. We're getting healthy, bro.
I thought Akeem Hicks was going to be a big addition for this team anyway. So him missing as much time as he did has definitely been a bummer for their production. Now, Akeem not being there should not have been this big of a catalyst for Vita Vea not playing as well as he had to start the season against the run. I mean, we were, I think, like 6 weeks into the season, and Vita Vea didn't have a single recorded solo stop yet, which is wild in run defense, and that should never be the case. But certainly, when you have somebody next to you who you have confidence in, who's a veteran, who's been one of the best run defenders in the NFL over the last half decade, it brings up the confidence, I think, of the rest of the group. Them not having Shaq Barrett's really going to suck along the defensive line. I mean, there's just truly no way around it. For as much as I like Joe Tryon-Shoyinka coming up and playing well and showing flashes, not having Barrett as a steady Eddie on that defensive line, not just as a pass rusher, but people don't realize, like, he's a good run defender too. He is a disciplined defensive lineman. So not having him is definitely going to suck for this team, no doubt about it. But when you get Hicks back, all of a sudden, you have two guys in the middle of your defensive line that can take up multiple gaps, that can two gap for you. And anytime that's the case, that gives you advantageous abilities to keep the linebackers clean behind him, which we saw from Devin White. It was a really nice Devin White game when he was going downhill. And a big reason for that is because he was allotted space, because he was allowed to keep clean, because those guys in front of him were doing a lot of the dirty work, and you're getting more one-on-ones on the edge. And that's definitely what you want. You know, when I watched a lot of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka's plays this past week, when he gets doubled, it's obviously an issue. He's not somebody who's going to be able to split doubles or hold up the doubles on the edge. But when it's simply one-on-one, even against Charles Cross, you know, even against Abe Lucas, who are two good young offensive tackles that the Seahawks have, he was able to best him. He really was on a handful of plays. So that's very key. Akeem Hicks doesn't, I mean, he's not the answer for all the questions that they've had on defense, but there's no doubt about it. They signed him for a reason. Getting him back, I think, does have a ripple effect from the middle of that defense everywhere else in the box for sure.
Hey, Logan Ryan might be coming back too. He tweeted it out. Coming back soon.
That
That would be huge. That would be huge the first 2 weeks.
Dude,
Because I don't want to see SMB on the field.
That safety trio of Antoine Winfield Jr., Mike Edwards, and Logan Ryan was really good to start the year. That was an advantageous rotation that they had at safety. Absolutely.
And 31 being the Joker, they can play him in strong, they can play him free, they can play him in the slot. They were literally playing him everywhere. Trevor, speaking on that, because I would like your opinion, I think SMB did not have a good game. I agree with everyone. But also, like, the throws that he gave at the touchdown on, the second one, I mean, that was a dot.
No, that wasn't his fault. The first one, though,
his hand was in between that was just a retarded throw. The first one where he turned his hips and he got flipped around, I'm like, what are you doing? Even 31 was like, what are you doing?
Learn that in high school.
But the second one was a dime, dude. Like, what else could he have done better, Trevor?
Well, I'll tell you, I asked a question earlier. Who did Tom Brady beat in practice when they ran that fake play?
No.
Listen, the resounding answer was SMB, bro. That's the only answer.
No.
That's the only answer.
That's fuck. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not.
He beat somebody.
Which
He
player
beat
are you
somebody.
talking about?
No,
Are you talking about the touchdown play?
Touchdown
the first one?
in the left corner of the end zone, not the one that was in the middle of the field where you got flipped around. The one that was towards the left corner back, like fucking, you know.
Yeah, Gino just threw it in the
that was a
perfect spot.
dime, bro.
Oh
The
yeah,
second touchdown.
Like SMB's literally diving, his hands in between the receiver's hands, and he misses the ball by inches, bro. It's just a stupid throw.
No, I'm watching this first touchdown. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he flipped to the outside. Like, what are you doing?
Not only did he go the wrong way, he rotated his hips and put his back to the
Yeah.
receiver, which you learn in Pee Wee football. Never turn your back to the receiver as a corner or safety.
Yeah,
That
he
doesn't
did.
happen.
He did a speed turn. That was
Made no sense.
no.
And did you see Antoine's reaction? Like, immediately he goes, like, what are you doing? But the other one, because people were freaking out, that was a really bad play. But the other
that
one
was not a good play. Yeah.
Did you see the other one? Because I know you have it on replay.
I'm watching it now. I'm watching the other one right now.
Like,
all right, Goodwin's fast as hell, so that's tough. Recovers. Oh, he's right there for the play. He just.
Yeah.
I mean, he missed.
That was just a hell of a ball, man.
That one, I don't blame on him at all. I just put that as that's just a hat tip to Geno Smith for being able to put that ball exactly where he did. Sean Murphy Bunting, the lowest graded player in coverage for PFF last week. He had a 29.3, which is out of 100. So that's not very good. He was targeted 5 times, gave up all 5 catches, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 first downs allowed. No forced incompletions, no interceptions, 2 tackles. A perfect 158.3 passer rating.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just what I've seen from SMB is it kind of goes back to confidence thing. When you play corner, you have to be really, really confident. Like that's one of those positions where if you don't believe you're the baddest dude on the field, the second you walk onto the field, especially in the NFL, you're going to get beat. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the CB1 for that team, CB2, CB3, it doesn't matter. If you don't think you are the best football player on the field when you step onto the field, it's not going to go well for you. So a lot of that just looks like some second guessing, because I think Sean Murphy Bunting's a good athlete. Like, I think he can be a good corner, but playing slot's tough. You have to be a mental master of the position as much as you are somebody who has the quick feet, the short change of direction, the explosiveness, all that kinds of stuff. Because when you are in the slot and you give a wide receiver so much space, they have the ability to put you on two-way goes, right? And that just means that you have the green light to go either way. So you often have to be square with them unless you're shading him one side or the other. But when you look at what Sean Murphy-Bunting's doing, that speed turn where he turns his back and completely turns the wrong way, that's just him guessing. If you're guessing at corner, you're going to get worked. Tyler Lockett's a veteran who's been around this league a long, long time, and he has made a career out of doing those things, setting you up. And if you are not 100% confident, Tyler Lockett is absolutely going to cook you. And so that's tough. Marquise Goodwin's speed. Marquise Goodwin's speed, he beats him off the line of scrimmage, but he even recovers off of that. So it just hasn't been a great run.
Is he playing out of position? Because they played him outside all camp. I mean, there was a question whether or not he was going to start over Dean, and then they moved 31 down into the slot.
When Logan Ryan was healthy, SMB didn't see the field but on special teams.
Right, yeah. And I think this is why, because you can't take Dean off the outside. He's not a slot corner, so it's not like one of those instances where you say to yourself, "Oh, Sean Murphy-Bunting could be better on the outside, and maybe Dean will still be just as good at nickel corner." That's not going to be the case. Jamel Dean's entire MO is he's tall, he's got the arm length, and he's got the vertical speed. Therefore, he's going to get physical with you. He can play and press. He can get hands on you. He can bump you off your route. He can stick with you if you're going vertical, if you're running a 9-ball. He can stick with you if you're going over the middle of the field, whatever it is. He's got recovery speed if he's playing off in cover 3. So all of those things just go towards him being a much better off-coverage corner. Or it's not off-coverage corner, sorry, boundary corner. So you can't move him off of that. I always felt like Sean Murphy-Bunting could have been a good nickel corner, but he just hasn't had a lot of really good production there over the last 2 years, I'll say. It hasn't really looked good, I don't think, since that Super Bowl
outside
season.
of the playoff run, yeah.
Just the playoff run, yeah.
Right. The playoff run, I thought he played well. But that whole defense was playing well, man. It goes back to all the Devin White conversations where people go, "Oh, after that Super Bowl run, Devin White's a top 5 linebacker in the NFL." And it's like, look, Devin White's athletic and he's talented, but let's be honest. Devin White looked as good as he did because the entire rest of that defense was doing their job exactly the way they needed to. And they were able to tell Devin White, go be a bull, see red, go get the ball. Just absolutely, you've got the green light to go downhill on anything. And he made so many big plays for him in the Super Bowl run. Crucial plays. They needed him to make those plays. But now when you're in a different situation, if the rest of the defense isn't playing as airtight as it was during that run, now you see some of the mess ups from those guys. And I think Sean Murphy-Bunting's probably in that same conversation. So if Ryan comes back, certainly they're going to be confident enough to play Ryan and Edwards back at safety. They could play Antoine Winfield Jr. in the slot as well. So it's just a struggle for him right now. And he just doesn't have a ton of confidence. You can see it on tape.
Speaking of defense, Trev, big part of that game, I think they played, again, another amazing game, honestly, as a group. And then complimentary football for maybe the first time this season from the Bucs from all 3 phases. We've got big old Dick Jake Camarda out there. Camarda and all over the field with his punts.
Huge dick.
How are you punting over 60 yards and forcing a fucking fair catch? That's unheard of, unprecedented. That's a fucking kick.
It's insane.
And then we go to the offensive side. Tom looks comfortable, and the running game looks good. What is the difference between what we were getting from Lenny and then what we saw from Rachaad White and what I consider to be his coming out party and possibly not looking back from here on out?
He just runs with more energy. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like even in the instances where they were giving the ball to Lenny early on in the year, I mean, we're talking 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situations where they'd hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette, and it's like, yeah, all right, the offensive line could have maybe made a bigger hole for you. But if you would have hit the line of scrimmage with as much force as we know Leonard Fournette running a 4.4, maybe 4.5 these days, 250 pounds, like if you hit them with all that momentum, you'd have got the first down.
Trevor, Sammer figured it out yesterday.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Lenny is stuck running ladder drills. If you look at how he runs, we've now dubbed him ladder drill Lenny. He's back there doing the
he actually drill. Hey, on one of his last runs, Trevor, we're all talking where he for some reason he put on the brakes with both features.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Latte goes, why'd he stop? I go, the ladder ran out. He didn't know what to do.
Ran out
they didn't have any more ladder up. And then we know how we sometimes run a pitch to him outside and it doesn't ever work.
Shit.
Those ladders are very straight. They don't curve. They don't come with
You
S
can't
curves in them.
curve.
People do forget about that. The ladders are just very
So
straight.
you're giving a guy who can only he's stuck on a railroad track. He can't do much else. It's not his fault. We should know better. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
but
don't-
speaking on what you were saying, Trevor.
Yeah.
The analogy that comes to mind for me is, can I get some Michael Pittman? Like, just grab the ball and run into the back of your fucking lineman at full
Every
speed,
time.
bro. That's
At
what Michael Pittman
full
did
speed.
every time. Just full speed. Just run into the back of your lineman, bro. Fall
worked.
forward for a yard.
Even Trent Richardson would run full speed into the back of his offensive lineman.
But
You
damn
know?
it, he's running full speed.
Hey, no one's gonna question effort there. Like a coach, I didn't hit the right, but hey, I gave you 110.
Hey,
Right,
people
yeah.
are
Did I
dying
not?
in the chat. People are dying in the chat. You got to make a shirt ladder drill.
Dude, listen.
He probably isn't going to appreciate that.
No,
No, he will
No,
not.
he's probably not.
We're not going to be part of the team anymore.
No, we are not.
In all seriousness, though, like for whatever reason, it just looks different when Rachaad White gets the ball. It looks like now he's a rookie, right? He's trying to make the most out of every single carry. It's his first year in the NFL. And Leonard Fournette's been doing this a little while. Some guys, they have gotten a lot of carries across their career. They're not exactly hitting the hole with everything they got. But here's the thing. If another guy is, you're probably going to want to give him the ball more.
Oh,
So
I see what
that's
Trevor's
not-
doing there. You're
Yeah,
probably if another guy's hitting the hole with all he's got, and you're not.
She's
and
leaving.
look, and
She's leaving.
Leonard Fournette hasn't even been as good in pass protection as he has been in years past. So that's another thing where you go, okay, well, he's a vet. He's got more size on him. He can be a little bit of an extra offensive lineman for you, or at least a little bit of an extra blocker because the offensive line isn't as good as we thought it was going to be going into the season. But he hasn't even been as reliable in pass blocking as he has been in years past. So if the running's not as ferocious as you have wanted it to be, especially in short yardage situations, and the pass blocking isn't necessarily there, we know Rachaad White can be a pass catcher. He was able to do that a little bit when he was at Arizona State. And now we've got proof where if you give this guy a full carry load, he got their first 100-yard game since week 1, and he gave Seattle a taste of their own medicine with a Marshawn Lynch-esque run with that stiff arm.
God,
I mean, he
God.
put Quandre Diggs into the goddamn shadow realm with that shit.
insane,
It
bro.
was that was, and here's the thing. That's what you need. Like, that's the fire. That's the stuff that I've been talking about over the last
Fires up
couple
the
of
whole
weeks.
sideline.
That it's like, right, that's the stuff that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks where it's like, who's doing that? Who's getting the ball in their hands and saying, I'm about to get every extra yard I possibly can. And I don't mean to say this as calling guys out, but like there just has not been a lot of those plays over the last, I'll say, 4 weeks. Rachaad White gives you a play like that, everybody's pumped the hell up. The offensive guys are pumped the hell up to go call another play. Brady's pumped up. The receivers are pumped up. The blockers want to block harder for a guy like that. The defense is out here getting their juices flowing, wait until they can get out and lay a hit, right? And it's just, those are the kind of plays that you need.
Trevor, you're not wrong. You can go all the way back to
that kind of play.
You can go all the way back to the Saints game. Had it not been for Mike Evans running off the sidelines and fucking,
Destroying
blowing up
bitch-ass
Lattimore again,
Lattimore.
they were playing with no energy in that fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're right. They have been missing something. 12 has said as much, by the way. Like I think he came out wide open last week and said the energy's not there, all that shit. I mean, he's
and you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it on the plays. You can see it on the scoreboard. You can see it everywhere, man. And that's the thing is that it goes back to what we were talking about with the offensive line. Best players have to play at this point. I mean, they're not at a point where they can have the luxury to say, well, yeah, but we signed this guy because we envision him doing this. Don't matter. They're sitting here at 5-5.
Yeah.
The best players need to play down the stretch if they actually want to make some noise in the playoffs.
and
They
the
actually
ones
wanna
who
get-
bring energy,
Here's
like
my fear,
big
though, guys.
Nick energy.
Big Nick energy.
I like it.
Need it.
I like it. I like that.
Okay,
But here's my
okay.
fear, guys. I like our coach. No problem, right? But
Mhm.
our coach,
Leftwich?
I think he was called.
Leftwich called the hell of a game, bro.
He laughed.
Leftwich called the hell of a game, bro. Number one. Number two, we didn't see any stupid Godwin bubble screens, bro. Not one. We didn't even talk about that. Not one.
We saw a wrinkle off of one though, which
That was a wrinkle, bro, because the other teams were
unreal.
jumping it, bro. They're like, throw that bitch one more time and watch this. We're taking it to the house.
Latte, on the
Great.
replay, the whole secondary went to that screenplay, dude.
I
That's
know.
how much they knew what was coming, dude.
I told
Go
you,
ahead,
we've been
go
setting that
But
play up
here-
for 9 weeks,
but
bro.
here-
We've been setting that fake up
Set
for
up
10
9
weeks.
straight weeks.
But here's
Which
my fear.
which play? Which play?
the fake off the fake bubble screen.
Fake bubble screen we ran.
And throw it down.
We ran a fake wide receiver screen, and then Mike Evans like snuck out behind it. They go over the top, get an easy 15-yard first down.
Caught a 20-yard pass on
I need to know who called.
The second one. The first one was acceptable.
One.
The second
I need to know
that was
called
Thomas.
The second one.
That had to have been Thomas.
Who called the second one?
But wait,
was it Leftwich?
But wait, before we get too off topic, guys.
Was it
before we get too off topic?
Yeah, wait. Let's let Latte finish his first point.
It's fine.
Here's my fear with the coach that we have, who's very conservative, not very risk it biscuit, not none of that shit. Just keep everything copacetic.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Bray come back. Otten clearly has been more juicy, more of a spark plug like Rachaad White.
Sexier.
And his snap percentage like plummeted. Like literally. Bray comes back, plummeted, gone. We're not gonna use Otten. Why? Are we gonna do the same thing with Lenny? Because I mean, somebody said in the chat they may give him more snaps. They'll never name Rachaad White the RB1 because Lenny was already bitching last week about not getting carries.
Technically, didn't White started the game?
White started the game though, Latte.
That could have been a discipline thing because Lenny, me and Snack were talking about that. Like they're adults, right? You should have known about your passport, bro. So that could have been a statement like, why the fuck didn't you get your passport in order? You're not starting the game. That's understandable. But Lenny was already bitching the previous week about why am I not on the field and the bullshit. And I just don't see them going to a huge shift and saying, nope, it's all Rachaad because I just don't see Todd Bowles' style.
I don't think it's going to be Rachaad. And it shouldn't all be Rachaad. But this goes back to the conversation. Well, this is the conversation that we were having last week when Rachaad White got into the game and there was the report that Leonard Fournette was pissed.
And Rachaad had to calm down.
The rookie had to
calm
him down.
Lenny was playing 70% of the snaps going into that game on the season. Leonard Fournette was getting 70% of the running back snap. Rachaad White was at 29. So they've been using you for most of the season. 70% clip in today's NFL is actually pretty damn high. So no, I don't think they're going to go to a point where Rachaad White gets 70% of the carries, but Lenny's production, or I should say Lenny's touches could go down and it could be an even 50-50. Now, I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll see it a little bit closer to that. And if Rachaad White is just clearly undeniably better with the football, then we might get a little bit closer to that 60-65% for him. But I think they're still going to invest in Leonard Fournette on third down situations. They need him to step up as a pass blocker, even though he hasn't been as good this year. And so it's never going to get 80%. That's just not going to happen in today's NFL. Like, unless you're Derrick Henry, unless you're Saquon Barkley, like unless you're one of those running backs, you're just not going to hit 80% or above. It's a lot of this stuff's by committee anyway. Shoot, you look at Christian McCaffrey yesterday and he was splitting time with Elijah Mitchell, right? Elijah Mitchell out-snapped him, out-carried him. So that's just how the NFL is. You look at Nick Chubb and Nick Chubb splitting carries with Kareem Hunt. So it's like, it's never going to be that high. But Rachaad White should absolutely be 50-50 in this at the very least. He has proven that over the next couple of weeks that you've got to give him carries in that regard.
I was going to say, back to that passport comment, Latte, do you know how hard it is to keep a passport in your pocket while you're doing those ladder drills? You could have lost it in walkthroughs on Monday. You don't know when that happened. So it may not have been irresponsible, honestly.
Motherfucker, bro.
Just saying. But now I do want to go back to the other point now that Trevor was trying to make, which is
who called that second play?
All right. You call a play like that.
And Sammer, just so we have the full context here, since we're talking about Lenny, Trevor, did you see Lenny's tweet? Like, you got to be better, Lenny. What the fuck are you talking about?
Didn't he say
quarterback? He said
QB2?
QB Lenny. You threw a pick. What the fuck are you bragging
that was
about,
him,
bro?
That was him. Obviously, he was not bragging. He was shit talking himself.
Right. He does
Calm
do
down,
that,
bro.
and I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
Did you see the second? Did you see the first comment? RB2. No. So he put QB2, and so the first comment was RB2.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I was going to say, Trevor, you call that play to set it up for weeks down the line.
But it was open on the first one. He didn't throw it.
I know, but Tom came out. Tom last night said, I was yelling at the sideline, don't throw it, Lenny. Don't throw it, Lenny. And Lenny still threw it. And then I slipped and fell on my face. So, like, the whole thing is, but you still should. I don't care if he's wide open. You don't call that.
You're not the only one who slipped and fell on the face, bro.
You call it later. You call it later on. Not 5 plays later.
Did Brady say that Fournette had the option on that play? Because I don't think he did. is the thing.
No, Tom said when he was lined up, the defense saw Tom and noticed that he was open the last play, and they understood. So the players were covering him, and they were saying, guard him, guard him, guard him, and pointing to Tom. So Tom tried to get Lenny's attention and say, don't throw it, Lenny, don't throw it. And Lenny's like, fuck it, I'm going.
Lenny's like, fuck you.
I get to throw a pass, bitch. I'm chucking this shit.
So here's the thing. A lot of people were getting on Leonard Fournette for this because they're like, how is Leonard Fournette throwing this football? I will defend Leonard Fournette a little bit in this way. When you are a non-quarterback and you are asked to potentially throw the football in a play, you're not reading the defense. You're not reading anything. There's no like read to it. It's basically like you're throwing this football. There are very few players, and they got to be veteran players, I think, who ever like tuck it or throw it out of bounds when they're not supposed to throw it. We see that shit all the time, right? We look at DJ Dallas for the Seattle Seahawks earlier this year. Remember, it was like the worst pick we've ever seen. It was absolutely hilarious. The reason, and people are freaking out about it afterwards, and they're like, how do you throw that football? It's because when you run that play, that is the only thing you are thinking about, throwing the football. You're not thinking about anything else. So I don't even blame Leonard. I don't even blame Leonard Fournette for throwing the football because I'm pretty sure they broke the huddle on that play, and the play was, Lenny, Tom was wide open last time. Throw it this time. So he's not thinking about anything else. If you notice, he's not even looking. He's trying to fake it for a second, and then he stops, brings it up like a quarterback, turns his head, and then throws it. It doesn't matter. He's not thinking about it at all. So I can't even blame him very much because when offenses ask skill position players to throw the football, they're not thinking about anything else. They're not reading the defense. They're not reading anything.
Well, according to Twitter, 12 would have mossed that corner anyways. All right, bro.
This motherfucker. I love Steak, bro. He comes in with his analytics. He's a journalist. Yeah. According to Twitter analytics.
No, 12 would have mossed the shit out of that corner.
If he didn't slip.
He would have pushed his ass into the earth and walked into the
worst case scenario.
Tom would have, if Tom didn't slip, let's all be honest. If Tom didn't slip, he would have and won basketball, jumped over Tariq Woolen, put his nuts on the back of his helmet, and then caught it one-handed for the catch. That's
and then stuck the landing and walked backwards into the end zone.
Yeah. He would have hit him with that Jordan post.
He would have stuck the landing and then walked backwards and kneeled it at the original line of scrimmage out of respect for the other team.
It's true.
Wow.
Just because then Tom wanted the extra passing yard.
So you don't think he would have done a Marshawn Lynch and just nut grab dive back right now?
No.
Word on the street, that's what he did to SMB in practice. He did that exact same thing.
See, now you take it too far. Now you take it too far for me.
That's what I heard, bro.
On that play call, dude, that drive was a beautiful fucking drive. I mean, they milked clock. They controlled it. They were rolling. We score there, and the game is probably over. We don't have to worry about sweating, the last quarter and having Rachaad White have to take somebody's life. Like, literally, that man has a family, and they had to watch that on national television. Wow. But why would you, we were in complete control. Why get
if it works, we're all fucking singing their praises, dude.
No, but it's best it wouldn't work. You don't call it twice on the same drive.
You don't call it, not even that. You don't even call it. You don't even call it twice.
Excited, bro. They were so excited. In the booth upstairs, they were like, he was fucking open.
You don't even call it twice in the same game. Like, good play callers will call it and come back to it weeks later when it's on tape and people have digested it weeks later. We called it not the drive later, not the quarter later, not the next fucking half or the next game. We said, hey, remember that play we called 4 plays ago? Let's call that shit again because he was wide open.
And Trevor said.
It's like a bunch of kids in a goddamn huddle thinking, let's do it.
You're throwing it no matter what. What?
Bro, Seattle's defensive coordinator was probably like, they're not.
These motherfuckers called the exact same play again.
They're not really going to do this shit again.
The biggest issue for me was the first time they called that. You guys realized they gained 2 yards.
I know.
It wasn't even.
It didn't even work when it didn't work.
I tweeted this
but
out.
Tom was wide open.
I tweeted out when this happened. The entire point of a trick play is you are giving the defense a look that they are not used to seeing. Therefore, as they break the huddle, you're forcing the defensive team, the whole defense, to communicate and react to what's going on. Therefore, you hope that the miscommunication opens up a couple of either holes or passing lanes or whatever it is that wouldn't normally be there. Therefore, the trick play would work and you get some extra yardage out of it. They called that, and even though Seattle's defense was not ready to cover Tom Brady, they stopped the run. They were able to stop the run. So when Tampa got in that look again, what made you think they were going to sell out harder when they already stopped it? Essentially 5 plays earlier.
The play to throw the ball would have been the first call. It would have been the first call.
I also say this. The game plan was good. The offense was good. They ran the ball well. They blocked a lot better. They got Godwin involved a lot more. Like, I felt like the game plan was the tight end offense was really great. I want to make sure that I say all that. Overall, the game plan was very nice. It's why they ended up winning the game. But that play was you got to throw that out and never think about it ever again. Is kind of where we were.
It's never worked for Tom. It's never worked. He dropped it in Super Bowls. It never works. Stop doing it.
Who threw him? Was it Edelman who tried to throw him the pass?
I think it was Edelman.
I think it had to be Edelman.
It wasn't James White. I think it was Edelman because Edelman played quarterback, so they were more comfortable with that.
Right.
Guys, I got another one for you. And listen, this guy holds a place in my heart. Deep in my heart. Wide receiver 1. Why can he not catch with his hands, Trevor? Like, the ball hit him in the fuck. Why did you jump? You didn't need to jump. You walk into the end zone. What?
Oh, so you're saying wide receiver 1? We're talking about Scotty Miller.
Yes.
Yeah, well, who else
Latte, I told you multiple times, when a receiver is not actually confident in their hands, they will jump and try to cradle every pass because they know they at least are going to get hit and they can still hold on to it.
But dude, he tattooed him, bro, and pounced off his chest like he almost dropped it because of that stupid shit.
He's got 2 things. He's afraid to get hit, and he doesn't trust his hands. He jumped on a ball that didn't need to be jumped. He could have scored a touchdown.
He did in the end zone last week. He jumped for the ball. He did the same shit.
Yeah, same shit. He jumped. But
he dropped that one too.
Trevor, listen, you played D1, bro. You look kind of like Edelman. You were a beast, bro. I remember. Listen, of course. How can you do one of these over the shoulder, way harder? Fucking Willie Mays over the shoulder, stupid catch in the corner of the end zone, diving, sliding on your knees with a corner all over you, but you can't catch the one right in front of you. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? You can't catch
because he's a one-trick pony. That's what he does. He does go deep. He does Willie Mays it. He's not that possession over the middle type guy.
Hard catch to do, man.
Hold on, wait, but no, Stank. They didn't throw a possession pass. He was running a crossing route wide open. All he do is catch it and keep running. He jumped and tried to make it.
Thinking about getting hit.
He jumped like he had 3 defenders around him.
There wasn't a defender within 5 yards of him.
He tried to do what Evans did last week in a 3-person pileup where his ribs got fucked up. But I'm sorry, Scotty, there was nobody there.
Bro, I'm convinced that's how they coach these receivers. Every one of our receivers catches the ball and fucking cradles and goes to the ground, bro. Like, we don't have any.
That's why
outside of Julio on the crossing
Julio
route.
Jones, motherfucker, catches it and runs.
Yeah, that's why
bro, because that's what Julio does.
A gazelle, bro.
We all shit our breakfast right then and there when he caught the ball and kept running. We're like, is he still? Hold on.
Wait, you're allowed to run after you catch?
He caught it and kept going. What is this fucking
I had
sorcery?
flashbacks of Dirk Cutter calling that shit on us fucking 35 times in a row in the Atlanta game. And Julio's just crossing route again. Crossing route again.
What do you mean? Where we played 14 different coverages?
14 different coverages.
21 different coverages.
Trevor was here to cover that. Remember? And Julio was like, nah, they play quarters, dog.
In the post-game, Seattle defensive coordinator said on that specific play, we played 14 different coverages, and Julio still got open and still scored. So that's like, maybe it's come back full circle. You never know.
I remember when that happened.
That was bad. And Julio threw him under the bus.
I wrote a cover 3 trying to identify all 14 coverages and plays in which all 14 coverages failed. And I believe I did that successfully. I believe I did that successfully. No, it looks. I can't get into the mind of Scotty Miller. I can't understand why he jumps. Obviously, he's a smaller wide receiver, so I think that he's probably been doing that his entire career. That's not like, I'm not like, haha, he's short. I'm not like saying anything like that. Like, that's just the way that it is. When you play football at this high of a level, these guys are big, they're strong, they're fast. Like, he's trying to make sure that he can hang with all of these players. He's trying to make sure that he can go up and get the football. So I do think it's a little bit of a natural reaction, but maybe there is something to a little bit of a lack of confidence as well, because in situations where he does not have to do that, he still does that. And we've seen it back-to-back weeks since really come back to bite him. So whatever it is, I mean, like, Mike Evans has a tendency to do the same thing, let the ball kind of come into his chest, and I don't really know why, because he's got a super long wingspan, and I'd love to see him use it. You know, Chris Godwin does that as well. Although I do think that Chris Godwin's a little bit better of a hands catcher. I feel like he extends for a lot of his catches, but
Hey,
man.
Latte, we had a
I wish
super
I knew
chat a
what the
minute
answer
ago.
was. I wish I knew what the answer was.
Can you find it? Because I don't know why.
Somebody in the
I'm-
chat called him Hopscotch Scotty. I really fucking like that.
Yep, we had a
chat.
super chat, 499 super chat from Most Wanted. What up, fellas? I don't know if it's too early to call this draft a success, but Otten, White, Camarda are studs. What do you guys think?
Camarda's a Hall of Famer.
Camarda's got the biggest
Hall
leg.
of Famer. It's 3 of them.
I don't want to hear anyone talk about the guy that got canceled that went to Buffalo. Okay,
Trevor, is that a measurement thing? Like, in the, and you're a draft guy, bro. Is that part of it when you get the stats back? Do they measure the piece? I mean, just
So
What are you talking about?
because listen, the
What do you
piece,
do-
the unit, bro.
but
The
Camarda, we all know Camarda has a fucking huge dick. Do they measure those
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
in the combine? Is that a combine?
uses it
joke?
uses
Listen,
it like
we
a
were
pendulum.
in Dallas. We were in Dallas, and that time he was doing warm-ups, and it was like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm uncomfortable right now.
because
And
kickers.
Sammer did bring it up. We said that in Dallas. And as you do scouting stuff. Does that matter? That pendulum swing for a punter, that momentum.
Do you guys measure the angle of his pendulum swing, the thickness, the girth, the length? Just like you guys, quarterbacks have the hand size, all that kind of stuff, arm length, wingspan for wide receivers, corners, etc.
What we're trying to say is Stank can't punt like that, bro.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. Is girth and length a measurement for punters? Is that going to be the new standard moving forward?
I got more of a long. snapper,
Obviously,
bro.
Trevor, you covered the draft. You should know some of the stuff. So
More of a long snapper.
I held it together before.
I
the
feel like, hold on.
Stan
I feel
Stan
like
can't kick like that comment. I really was.
I feel
was
like
right.
a long snapper would have to be smaller, though, right, to get things out of the way to be able to
It's
complete
tight.
that snap
It's
properly.
it's a tight, quick.
Yeah.
I zip it in there,
jerky
bro.
formation.
I hit the spot when I need to, bro. Like every single time. All right.
So our
Hit
theory,
record.
Trevor, is that he's able to pendulum swing that thing back, and it adds
Sure.
momentum to his kick. And next thing you know, that thing's booming, hitting the fucking ceiling twice in Dallas. I mean, come on,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
He did.
No, it's just it's science, right? It's just
It's a science.
mass
You're
times
right.
mass times acceleration. That's
You're right.
what we're talking about here. This is the formulas that we learned. I mean, you're just applying it to football. They say that football is just geometry in motion, so it's a lot of math that's coming out, and that's the point of successful plays. They obviously don't do that at the combine. It's not something that's public, but you can't get it from certain scouts. When you go to pro days, that's when you really kind of get the behind the scenes numbers. So you get a lot of that.
You say
the circumference.
pro days or porn days? What'd you say? Pro days?
Yeah.
Pro, no, pro, yeah,
pro days.
Yeah, I did do.
Where
pro
would
days,
one
but-
go to get that kind of scouting job? Just wondering. Just asking for a friend.
I think it's kind of. I think you gotta know somebody. I think you
How
gotta.
much?
You gotta know.
How
think you
much
gotta
are your
know
scouting
somebody.
jobs?
Hey, you could also find out if you fall down running the 40 like Homeboy did like 3 years ago, and it was like,
Okay,
Yeah.
so
God,
hold on.
I have no balance.
Hold on.
God,
It
relax.
wasn't Homeboy. All right. Do you know who that was?
No, I don't remember. I just remember that shot. Like,
Yeah.
golly,
It was
Whoa.
Chris. It was Chris freaking Jones.
are you?
Was it Chris
the Chiefs,
Jones?
Chris Jones?
Yes.
That
Oh,
explains a
no
lot, bro.
wonder he pushed
That
around
explains
everybody
a
else.
lot.
That's girth, bro. That's
That
girth.
thing's adding
No
weight.
wonder, dude.
No wonder you can't double team a motherfucker,
You
dude.
can't double
No,
team
you
him,
can't.
He's
It
probably
was
hitting
Chris
people's
Jones,
legs with
dude.
that goddamn thing.
bro. But how does he not fall forward every time like he did the
He is.
combine? I mean,
But he is
does.
falling forward. You see the tackles? He's
you're
always
right.
pushing running backs backwards.
You're right.
Look, all I'll say, last part about punting is big kicks matter. That's
Big
what
Big
this
kicks
one-
do matter.
this one-
Big
this-
kicks
Hey, that's a shirt, dude. From the guy who looks like he's wearing a shirt that makes him look topless, that's a shirt.
Yeah, everybody
That
says
is
you're
a
topless
shirt.
in the chat,
Yeah.
bro. Everybody's like freaking
It's
out
'cause
thinking you're topless.
I'm not entirely topless, but yeah,
And
I guess.
And we're over here talking about girth measurements on kickers and whatnot. I mean, this is
Speaking of girth, did everybody
I'm
see
just doing-
Vita Vea after the game, dude? Shirtless out there in Germany?
After the
that
game.
man is
I
beautiful.
mean, let's be real. Did you guys see the clip of him trying to do a jersey swap with somebody one time?
Yeah.
And Michael Pahanic's in the background trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
help
they're
him
trying
out,
to
just
take
like
his
get the
jersey.
jersey off of him. Vita Vea is probably after every game. Vita's probably like, "Give me some goddamn scissors. Like, get me out of this jersey."
No,
Scissors?
no,
What do you
actually,
mean?
what are you talking
Trevor,
about?
We're sponsored by baby oil.
That would work.
Baby oil does the trick, Trevor. Come on.
I set you
Steven
guys up.
Smith
I set you
baby
guys
oil.
up perfectly. I set you guys up perfectly. Beck's
Unbelievable.
baby.
man. No, but Trevor, if we can get serious, what do you think of the draft so far in Camarda, White, and who is it? I can't remember right now.
Dude, I mean, they had Zion McCollum in this draft. They had Logan Hall in this draft. Obviously, they had Gadecki in this draft as well. It looks really solid, right? And I mean, like, this is Jason's bread and butter. This is what Jason loves to do. He's a big-time draft guy. It's why I think a lot of people I don't mean to say this to brag, but like I go on radio shows for people who are like national, but they know that I have Tampa Bay in the there we go. Vita Vea, Mr. Beck's 2020. They know that I have Tampa Bay on my Twitter handle. They know I came from Tampa roots, so they're national people who will ask me about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a couple of weeks ago, all of them are asking the same thing. Hey, Bucs are in trouble. Are they going to be buyers at the deadline? Are they going to go after somebody? Are they going to spend draft picks to go get somebody? And I told them, I was like, no, I'd be extremely shocked. And the reason why is because Jason loves this. He believes that building a healthy roster is really important. And the way that you do that is through the draft. And so, look, I think that Logan Hall is going to be a really good utility player for them along the defensive line. They got him in the second round, which is important. Top of the second round. I felt like it might have been a little rich for me, but they're going to get a lot of use out of him. So I think he's going to be good. Gadecki could still be a good interior offensive lineman, even though he's obviously struggling his rookie year. Rashad White, already great return on investment. Same thing with Jake. Same thing with Cade. Zion McCollum was always going to be a work in progress. He was always going to be a supersized corner that needed a little bit of time to get things going. Keefe, though, incredible special teamer that you got in the 6th round, which is Jason loves to nail those 6th and 7th round picks as big time special teams guys. And I mean, Keefe is even doing things outside of special teams as well. So this is a very solid draft. This is a very solid draft that Jason has had. And I feel like over the last half decade, he has really come into his groove as a evaluator and as a drafter and everything, man. He's been doing it for a long, long time, and it's absolutely been paying dividends for the team.
Yeah, we got to take a little bit of credit for Keefe's development behind the scenes. Loose cannons.
You do? You personally?
Not me personally, but the loose cannons in general.
Okay.
And we do a lot to help the family, to help behind the scenes. I mean, like Jerry was texting us pictures of his meat yesterday, dude, before the game.
Pretty crazy.
Is this like a Jake Martin meet kind of thing, or are we moving on to something else?
No,
I mean, use your imagination, dude.
Use your imagination. Listen, somebody just called him Kickstand Camarda. I love it. I like it.
Big Kicks Matter is the next shirt I'm designing.
Big Kicks Matter. Moving on, Trev.
Or you could do Big Kick Energy.
Oh, I like Big Kick.
No, we're doing Big Nick Energy. We're gonna give it to Nick.
Oh yeah, Big Nick Energy. Yeah, that's a good one too.
The Chargers won Twitter when they put Big Dicker Energy after Dicker kicked the.
I feel like that's too forward.
Yeah, we should just make a shirt that says Big Dick Energy and just have Camarda's face right there. Just
sure. Just
don't even imply it. Just go get right out there and just say it.
Sure.
So we're going from our big gay kicker
it won't be me.
I mean, this is amazing.
We went.
Our kickers are like the gift that keeps on giving. Trevor, listen, I told the guys before that if we were able to win the Rams game, and we were in the dramatic fashion that we did, the momentum and the injection of just life into the team was going to be big. And then I doubled down and I told Stank before the game, I said, if they fuck around and let us win this game, and we go into the bye week on a 2-game winning streak, after being as down as we were, watch the fuck out, because we've seen what this team can do coming out of a bye week. What are your thoughts on this and what you saw and the positive improvement? They can cut out some of the fat. Tom Brady even said it last week on his podcast. Basically, this is the time of year where you start figuring out what you're good at, what you suck at. What are your thoughts on that? We got to face the Browns, the Saints, Niners coming out of the bye.
All wins.
Browns aren't very good. Saints.
Deshaun Watson. That'd be Deshaun Watson's second game, by the way.
Yeah, but Browns aren't very good. I mean, the Browns defense is just really the story. I mean, like outside of Myles Garrett, they're not having a good year on defense. So again, when you have 2 weeks to prepare, that should be something where the Bucs offense could really get the better of them. Saints obviously really struggling. We know that the Saints play the Buccaneers tight, but that Saints team is all out of sorts right now. So I think that should be a victory for them as well. Niners are going to be tough. I think the Niners are a really good football team. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I think they're going to be a playoff team when it's all said and done. So that one's going to be tight. But, to more answer your question directly, I've been having these conversations where people have been like, oh, like if this happens, then all of a sudden the Bucs might snap into this team that we always thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. And even though, Christian, I do agree with what you said, the last second win against the Rams and how they won it in dramatic fashion definitely gave them a boost. How they won a game in a new country, unfamiliar territory, special game, unique game. That's also something that's going to be positive. It was never going to be this. Boom, Bucs are back, baby. Like that, like it's just everything's now clicking. It was always going to be, all right,
incremental.
Little victory here. Okay, you beat the Rams. It was good. You were able to come back. Big dramatic way. The whole team. I mean, the Byron and Brady embrace on the sideline. I mean, that told the entire story of what that game meant. Now you take that energy, you take that focus, you play even better against Seattle. Now this is a better team. Like I said, it's a unique game. Now they're in a situation where they do have a chance to go into this bye week, to get healthier, to get focused, to stay pissed off, to have that fire underneath them, and to really focus a little bit more to slingshot in what could be a really nice second half of the season for them there. So it was never going to be this flip of the switch. This team is as good as they were during their playoff runs over the last 2 years. It was always going to have to be gradual. But I will say, the steps have now been there. First step was against the Rams. Second step was against Seahawks. Now they're taking baby steps. You got to play. You got to handle the bye week very well, and you have a decently favorable schedule moving forward. What's the rest of their schedule? Do you guys have it up right now? After those 3 games,
I have it up.
Okay, what is it?
You have Browns, Saints. Okay. Wait, we go to Cleveland, Saints here. We go to San Francisco, Bengals come here. We go to Arizona on Christmas Day. Carolina, Atlanta.
The only games that I would be really afraid of as a Bucs fan would be in San Francisco is going to be tough. I mean, that's going to be a really tough game. Both sides of the ball, they're really good. They're getting healthy. They're getting really talented players.
Cincinnati, obviously.
Cincinnati is going to be really tough, especially because that's probably going to be around the time when Jamar Chase comes back. And when we've seen the Bengals with Jamar Chase and they've been healthy, that's one of the best offenses in the NFL. So could be a shootout, could be tough, but all the rest of those games are winnable. I would say that the rest of their schedule is pretty favorably winnable outside of those 2 games, which I could see them dropping.
Now, you talk about them getting healthier. Go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say the Bengals, no disrespect to Jamar Chase, but that Jamar Chase type of receiver hasn't really burned us, especially when we have Carlton Davis playing in these games. And now that Jamel Dean's also playing at the level he's playing.
Quick hitter ones.
Carlton has played better. Carlton has played better as of late, which has been really important. And I would have faith that Jamel Dean can handle T. Higgins. But again, like these are really good wide receivers. And so even if it's a back and forth battle, a really good battle between these 2 players, if they get you just enough times, like if T. Higgins gets you twice, if Jamar gets you twice, that could be it, depending on how big of chunk plays those are, if they're scoring on those plays. Is that game in Cincinnati?
No, it's here.
It's here.
Okay, that's important.
San Fran, Cincinnati's here.
Because Cincinnati, the Bengals are very quietly a dominant team at home. I think they're 7-1 in their last 8 home games that they've played, going back to last year in the playoffs. They are really good when they play in Cincinnati. So I think it is definitely advantageous for them to be at home against.
I don't mean to interrupt you again because this is all I've been doing the whole podcast. But Pats fan in the chat said Saints on Monday night will be tough. First of all, fuck you, Pats fan. Okay, we don't talk like that here. Okay, right. Get that shit out of the chat room, Pats fan. Why are you here? Why are you here?
Brady. He's following Brady.
Trevor hit his face when he started cursing at people directly.
Trevor, you mentioned teams getting healthier, but the flip side of that we are also getting healthier. We talked about getting Logan Ryan back. We just got 31 back in Antoine Winfield. We got Hicks back. Those are big pieces. I found something interesting yesterday because people kept kind of the speculation about it. That Godwin, although he's an animal and he's playing, that he hasn't been quite the same, right? You've seen a lot of stuff behind the line of scrimmage, not much stuff downfield, not much stuff, in the seam where he makes us say where him and Brady kind of make their magic. You saw a little bit of that yesterday, but I found it interesting that Godwin said that, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite 100%. Getting through these 9 weeks and then going through a bye week, getting some rest, getting some rehab. If we get 100% or a 95%, nobody's 100% now, 90% Godwin going into it, a little more confident, how much of a difference can that make when they start sprinkling it into the middle of the field? Because we haven't exploited that this year at all. It's been all bubble screen and tunnel screen shit, and that's it.
Right.
But
I think Godwin's the key that can unlock. As important as 13, he's my favorite player, and without him, Godwin can't do what he does. Right. So they're both important. Everyone's important, but the key, the engine that makes the offense go. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, Hines Ward, it's that guy in the middle. How important is it to get Godwin back?
Latte, on top of that, I'll let you finish, Trevor. I was going to say, yesterday before the game, Chris Godwin was telling people in those meetings leading up to the game, the reporters and all that behind this, that this was the game week that he was circled as when I feel like I will be back to where I am going to be Chris Godwin of old. And then, no surprise, he plays a little bit better. We see him do more stuff. Offense looks better. Go ahead, Trevor.
Got a huge third down over the middle,
when it comes to major ligament injuries and you playing a sport which demands you run as fast as possible multiple times a game, the physical timeline for you to heal is about 9 months, 10 months. The mental timeline for you to heal is about 2 years. That's normally what it takes. Everybody who tears their ACL will tell you, yes, I can physically run after a year. Yes, I can get there. But for a lot of guys, it takes another 6 months to a year for them to mentally get all the way there, to trust that knee again, knowing how much rehab they went through, knowing how much pain they went through when it happened, just all of that. Like the mental recovery of getting over a ligament takes so much longer than just, all right, yep, you're cleared to play. You should be good to go. Any athlete who has ever torn a ligament will tell you that. And that's what I've found across sports, no matter not just football, but NBA, NHL, whatever it is. It just takes so much more time mentally. So even though Godwin was back relatively early this year, I knew it was going to be a little bit for him. I knew that we probably weren't going to get the quote unquote real Chris Godwin until December, January, if at all, this year. I think that next year Godwin's absolutely going to come out on fire. So I'll just say that for sure. But look, I don't have any sources here. I'm not breaking any news. But when's Ryan Jensen coming back too? Because they did not shut this guy down. They did not shut this guy down at the beginning of the year for a reason. And I think it was probably to revisit where they were at in right around this time. Middle of November is kind of what I was always mentally targeting, where, okay, if Ryan Jensen is not close, they might just shut him down for the season to get an extra player on the roster. But now I'm like, okay, haven't heard anything. Maybe he is going to come back at some point this season. Maybe really he does weird. Actually come back late December. Maybe that is
real quiet.
Strengthen everything around and brace it the hell up. I don't know what's going on. I'm not, speculating here. I don't know. I do know, but I don't know.
You talked about energy.
Get strong.
That's the fucking guy, isn't it?
Isn't it? Trevor, if you have a ligament injury, not a torn anything, because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But if you have a ligament injury, can a lineman who doesn't have to make lateral cuts the way a receiver does, can they strengthen everything around it, brace it the fuck up, and just can he play?
He's got bigger guys leaning on him though.
Yeah, I don't know.
And anyone could roll up on him on accident.
Did we ever get an official injury designation from him? We didn't get anything.
The whole thing has been weird. It's been this weird cloud of gray that they refuse to like.
Never been done in the NFL. They're just like, nope, we're not going to talk about it.
Right when we got over it, and it's like, yeah, it's bad for Jensen. I was like, oh, damn, can't wait to hear what it was the next day. Next day goes by, nothing. Next day goes by, nothing. Next day goes by, nothing. And I'm like, okay, his career's either over or they're getting him back in December and they don't want anybody to know about it. Like
Ferguson said it best, the swelling never went down so they can find out, bro. It just
but what's crazy is like a month later, he's just walking around at camp. He's
been on the sidelines every game.
And during the season, he's walking around like a normal person. I get that that's not football shape, obviously, but my only thing is if he gets in there, can he avoid getting run up on and get back up? Like that's something that happens on every single play, basically.
I can't remember. Was it a knee thing or was it an ankle thing?
A knee thing.
Knee.
It was his knee?
Yeah.
And they have no answer.
So
he's coming back. They're going to
partial tear.
I think he has to come back at some point, or at least he's going to give it a shot to come back at some point. Because one, maybe this is Jensen's call. Maybe he's like, yo, look, this is Tom's last ride. So I am going to hold out surgery to make sure that if there is any chance I can play in January, I'm going to play in January. So maybe that's the case. But I feel like it is more likely that he would play at the end of the year, because if he's been on the sideline every game, if he had surgery, I feel like we would have seen him on crutches or something, like
he did not
for like a longer period of time. And
nothing, dude.
And now you're flirting with like, oh, does he get surgery? Does he not get surgery? Now you're flirting with, if he were to get surgery now, is he ready for next season? Which I don't think they want to mess up that either. So I'm trying to put together pieces of information that none of us have, but ultimately I keep going back to the fact that I think they're getting Ryan Jensen back at some point this year.
We also have to consider it's Ryan fucking Jensen, bro. That guy's not a normal human.
They're going
to insert like normal human,
like a pirate, bro. He's
right. Yeah.
They're going to insert him in the Super Bowl. Also, I'm pretty sure he probably was like, "Hey, if you guys just cut this off and put a peg in there, how long before I can really use it properly?" Yeah. Is that an option? He not. By the way, Trevor, he has not had surgery. So for them to delay the surgery, knowing that if they delay it, they're going to fuck up not just this year, next year, they would not take that risk or that chance. So I feel like he's coming back. They're going to insert him to the starting lineup right before the Super Bowl kicks off, and just another dominant win in the Super Bowl. That's what's happening.
Because here's the thing, like you can tear a ligament and not do anything about it. Like you don't have to get surgery. Like you will eventually, you can walk a little bit, you can run a little bit, like your body will heal and it will be fine, I believe. But it just won't fully heal, and it's more susceptible to tearing again unless you actually get surgery to repair it. So I'm spouting off things without being a doctor here, and I don't want to totally speculate, but like I have heard about people who, just tear their ACL in a pickup game or something, and like don't have the insurance to get the full surgery on it, so they just go, and so they just go like, yeah, I'm just gonna wear a brace now. Like this is just like what I'm gonna do, and maybe he tore a ligament in his knee, and maybe the doctor said like, hey, if we don't do surgery, you can let it kind of heal on its own for a couple of months, and then you could put an extremely sturdy brace on it, and you might be all right. You might be able to play. And maybe Ryan Jensen was like, fine, do it. Let's run the risk. Don't care. But
what was Tom's injury when Tom just kind of played half a season with a brace?
Oh, yeah.
Was that not the same thing? Is it different? Was that something that really didn't require surgery? Yeah. Are they seeing the same
it was
people?
an MCL something. It wasn't like a tear.
It was a sprain, right?
It was
Didn't
a sprain,
he sprain it?
yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If Jensen would have sprained the ligament, he'd have been back
by now. Yeah.
Like they'd have brought him back probably at the beginning of November, unless they are totally just saving him for the playoff run.
Super Bowl.
Or something,
All right, it's 8:30. Send the show, boys.
Wait, we got 3 callers I have to reward.
What?
I'm sorry. I've been
recording stopped.
Trevor talks.
You stopped the recording.
You stopped the recording.
That's Zoom. That doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna go to 770.
Oh, wait, before you take this call, hold on, caller.
Hold on, caller.
Jensen tweeted out yesterday, football. That's how he tweeted out. He tweeted that out yesterday, just so you know, Trevor.
What does that mean? What does that mean? It means nothing.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Zach. Or sorry, caller.
I think this is Corey Nashville. Corey,
yeah, my name's not Zach, man.
My bad.
Corey from Nashville. What's up, guys? Hey,
what up,
man,
Corey?
shout out to that dub. So many people get credit for yesterday's dub. I mean, I can go Rashad White. I can go the defense. I can go Giselle if I wanted to. But what I'm going to do, got a shout out to Devin White and the word tranquility, peace. He's dealing with a lot of stuff going on personally. And, football, if you know Devin White, I'm pretty sure you guys have been around the organization much closer than I have. But football is his peace. It's his tranquil. It's where everything that he feels like he can control is in front of him, which is awesome. And without Devin White yesterday, our defense doesn't perform like it did yesterday. He used that football field as medication, as a hug, as solace, whatever he needed, whatever he got from, he used it from his teammates. Our defense was outstanding, and it started on our first defensive play. They did a little shovel run, toss run with Kenneth Walker. If Devin White does not make that arm tackle when he just grabs him and pulls him down, Kenneth Walker probably scores on their very first play. I don't know if you go back and check it out when you see the All-22, you will see it. If he breaks that run, it's a wrap. And I just want to shout out Devin White for being able to play under those circumstances and the word peace, man. I'll call back later on. I got much more to talk about, so I'll just talk to y'all later this week.
Okay, sounds good.
Appreciate you, brother.
Good call.
Was he at Chuck E. Cheese, bro? What was going on in the
background? He's got like 13 kids, I think, so it may have just been he was at basketball practice.
I got 2. Two kids.
Hey Corey.
He's trying to start a football team.
Corey, when we going to DR, bro? I heard you want more kids.
When we go to DR, bro?
When we going to DR, bro?
As soon as I get divorced. The only way I'm gonna make it to the DR.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be divorced.
get on that Tom Brady plane. You gotta retire, then unretire, and it will happen in less than 6 months.
I need some of them M's. M's. He can divorce comfortably.
That shit was funny as hell, Trevor. I think it was someone off the edge tweeted, "Why if we can do Germany games, why can we do something Caribbean, please? Like Dominican Republic?" I was like, "Bro, that'd be sick. I'm Dominican." And then Stank tweeted underneath it, if there's a game in Dominican Republic, somebody's getting pregnant." Mm-hmm. And then Corey had just tweeted simultaneously, "Yeah, I'm out on that, bro, for obvious reasons." So I retweeted Exhibit A of obvious reasons. Yeah. Somebody's getting impregnated. We're not allowed to go to the Dominican Republic for a game.
We're not.
It's not happening.
Can you just leave the pregnant women there and don't have to worry about it?
Oh God! Wow. Oh my God! Then take the next caller. Stop.
Next caller.
Just because Stank said it so confidently.
Bro, Trevor's trying to make it to a desk, bro. He's trying to get on TV.
I'm gonna make him take us with him. That's why. All right?
Oh my God!
Now I've got blackmail. All right, Tom in Michigan. Tom in Michigan, go.
Oh, Trevor, you never heard Tom in Michigan. This is gold. Just listen.
He sounds like Bender from fucking Futurama. Go ahead, Tom.
Good evening, peeps. How you doing? Or should I say, Guten Tag, peeps. Hey, there's nothing like laying some pipe on a trip, especially a European trip. Hey, you have to say, we did make Urban Meyer smile for that one. But damn, my boys were on a mission yesterday or what? Devin White had some bad attentions out there. And my man Rashad Wright, what the fuck? Don't know what German phrase to use on that stiff arm, but I'll use that phrase from that movie Training Day. Diggs got his shit pushed in. Hey, and the one Buck player everyone's not talking about today is that Kyle Trask. Hey, just see it when he was playing running back yesterday and Brady tossed him the ball and then he tried to throw it back to Brady, but he kind of underthrew it. Give him a year or two, he's getting there, you know, he's making progress. In a couple of years, he'll be holding upon his jock strap. And kind of going around the NFL yesterday, Justin Jefferson, damn, son, was that a catch or what? Even with 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins trying to lose that damn game, you pulled that thing out of the jaws of fucking defeat. Way to go, my man. And Dak Prescott, get this, in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, in over 150 games that they had the lead for 14 points in the fourth quarter, going into it, they've never lost. What happens? Hey, thanks, Dak. Hey, Dallas fans, you missing Cooper Rush yet? Hey, in the last 10 years, there's only been one worse quarterback on 3rd and 4th down completions than Dak Prescott, and that's Tim Tebow. Hey, Stank, I mentioned 2 great Florida quarterbacks in a phone call. I want my royalties.
All right.
Hey, my top takeaways from this week, Scotty Miller, you can jump all you want as long as you catch the damn ball. And with a win, I don't have to think of the NFL draft yet. Hey, Saints, how's your trip to Pittsburgh go for you? Just kind of curious. Hey, the NFC South may suck, but we're undefeated against the NFC West. Let's fucking go into the bye week and bang out some Louisiana chicks like single meth moms they are. Good night, Steve.
The end was so good.
What?
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
He called Kirk Cousins Kirk 1 o'clock Cousins.
Yeah, even Kyle Trask called a sniper.
Remember, so he used to be a Romy, bro. He called the Jim Rome show. So he's good at that shit.
He's a clone. Yeah, he's a clone.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He's had legendary ones on here, bro. You just listen when Tom calls.
That's amazing.
All right,
I love it.
Last call tonight, 813 area code. Y'all have to lose Kansas. You got 90 seconds to close this out. Go. 813. 813.
813 is gonna be the only one to fuck this up.
Yeah. 813.
Like the Tampa? Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
I like it, bro. I like it.
Makes a lot of sense.
End the show.
Hey, drop the mic.
There's nothing to say. We're 5-5. We're dominating the NFC South. It's not even fucking a contest anymore. Okay? We get to go into fucking Thanksgiving week with the lead on a win. I can't wait, bro.
We figured out how to use our most talented offensive weapon in Jake Camarda. Scott is a limit at this point. This team is climbing. This team is going places. Trevor, let people know how they can follow you, read all your amazing stuff, listen to you, see you, and hopefully catch you again on NFL Network with that marvelous hair.
Wow. Everything over at PFF.com. Thank you. I just got a cut like 3 days ago, so it better be. Paid somebody good money for it. Everything over at PFF.com. You guys are watching this on YouTube, so you know the drill with YouTube. We've got a show called It's Just Football. We broadcast live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Myself and Mike Brenner, we're covering the NFL front to back, and we're having a lot of fun doing it with a lot of fun segments. Basically, PFF's version of Good Morning Football. So that's always a good time. And then, whenever that time comes, and it's not right now for Bucs fans, if they want to get into the draft, I got a draft podcast called the NFL Stock Exchange Podcast. Myself and Connor Rogers, we're covering their draft, we're covering the league, we're covering all that good stuff. Of course, because I'm one of the co-hosts, you know that I'm focusing on the Bucs quite a bit when it comes to the draft. So, all those places. Hey, before this might be a grenade that I'm unpinning and throwing to you guys before we leave, but I'm not going to get to talk to you before then, at least not on the show. How do we feel about turkey on Thanksgiving? How do we feel?
It's amazing.
Big
I wish
fan.
we'd have turkey every week.
I love turkey on Thanksgiving, dude, because I don't bake it and make it stupid dry like people.
Just what I was asking. Some people like have a war on turkey on Thanksgiving because they're like, oh, like it's hella dry, like turkey's trash, like it's bad. I love turkey on Thanksgiving.
Smoke it, bro. I'm not a ham guy on Thanksgiving. No, fuck that shit. I want a turkey.
I want it exactly how the storybooks in school lied to us about Thanksgiving. That's how I want it, okay? That make-believe bullshit story about turkey and Native Americans and white people sitting and, breaking bread together, even though there was basically a massacre before any of that stuff happened. But I want that.
You lost me there.
I want that.
I don't want any small packs with my turkey, bro, but I do enjoy turkey. Listen, I do mine Tampa style, okay? A little bit like picture barefoot? Cuban barefoot fuck as fuck.
Like mojo. He does like a pulled pork.
I do it like pulled pork actually. I bone my turkey. I take all the meat out. I bone that shit. Get out of that.
Bone your turkey. You debone. You
I give that shit the bone barefoot.
You bone your turkey on Thanksgiving.
I bone it. Debone.
All right, please do the outro. Please do the outro before Stan does anything else.
What's that TikTok you see all the time now, Sammer? You can't eat at everybody's house. You can't eat at everybody's house. You can't eat at this motherfucker's house.
This guy fucked his turkey before he served it. Go Bucs.
I didn't.
I'm hanging with the boys, man. They're part of the team. Part of the team, man. Can I tell you, part of the team? Welcome to Tampa Bay.